Hey, 8th grade, this is Mr. Ayton. This is 8th grade class corner, and we're doing photosynthesis introduction. So we're just going to do an introduction to photosynthesis. We're going to get way more in depth at photosynthesis, but let's get to it for our lesson for today. There are producers, there's consumers, there's decomposers. Our producers are obviously our plants, like anything from grass, anything that is going to produce photosynthesis, and our consumers are the things that eat those plants. Things like a crazy cow and things like a crazy Mr. Sly. And our decomposers are obviously things like bacteria and fungi. All right. You've learned that before. We know that we get all of our energy either directly or indirectly from producers. Okay, either we eat those vegetables directly or we are eating the things that are going to eat those vegetables, and that means the law of conservation of energy is coming right into place. So what process do producers use to make food for both itself and consumers? That is called photosynthesis. So we are going into this photosynthesis unit. Photosynthesis obviously is the process that captures energy from the sunlight to make sugars. It's making glucose, C6H12O6. You're going to want to know that formula, C6H12O6 glucose, in order to store chemical potential energy. And remember the last video we took a look at how that glucose ends up breaking down in order to give us energy in terms of that ATP into the ADP, but we'll take way bigger look at that. And so we're going to take 6 waters and 6 carbon dioxides and the energy from the sun. What's that energy going into doing? It's going into breaking bonds. Breaking bonds. All of those H2O molecules, all those CO2 molecules have bonds that need to be broken. And so all that energy goes into the activation energy to break bonds. And what's it going to produce is C6H12O6 and 6 oxygen gases. And it gives us the glucose we need for our energy. It also indirectly gives us oxygen gas to breathe. That's really nice. Keep in mind, there's a lot of people that will show this reaction with just one arrow. I'm putting a lot of arrows in between because it is way more complicated than people think. People think, we have water and carbon dioxide, we get glucose and oxygen gas, and that's just one step of one reaction. It is definitely not. Okay, so how does a plant capture sunlight? Well, it uses what's called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll, more like borophyll. And so chlorophyll is a molecule in the chloroplasts. You can see the chloroplasts are this green molecule here. The chlorophyll is a green molecule inside this chloroplast, and they absorb some energy in visible lights. Plants have 2 main types. They have chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. Both absorb different wavelengths of the spectrum. And so what we see here is chloro. That root chloro means green, and the root phyll means leaf. Phyll means leaf. So it's green leaf is what it basically means. And of course, plast means molded. Plast means molded. Okay? There are 2 main types, 2 main parts in the chloroplast. Chloroplast. There is the grana. The grana. These are stacks of coin-shaped compartments. These are the grana. And the grana are stacks of the coin-shaped compartments called thylakoids. And the thylakoid membrane contains the chlorophyll and proteins. And the stroma is the fluid that surrounds the grana inside the chloroplast. So we have the grana are the stacks of the coin-shaped compartments called the thylakoid. Thylakoid is sitting in the stroma inside that chloroplast. Okay. Stage 1 is what we call the light-dependent reactions. The light-dependent reactions, and these are all inside the thylakoid. So what happens here is the chlorophyll absorbs energy from the sunlight. It's 6 moles of water molecules are broken down by this energy, breaking bonds, producing 6 moles of oxygen gas. You can see this is called the light-dependent reactions because we need that sunlight absorbed by the chlorophyll to break the 6 H2Os to make 6 moles of O2. And these also release high-energy molecules. Okay? These molecules, including ATP, contain a large amount of chemical potential energy, and it's transferred. So it's producing some energy as well. Stage 2 is the light-independent reactions. We do not need light for stage 2, and these are inside the stroma. And what's happening inside the stroma is we have 6 moles of carbon dioxide is coming in. That's the air that we breathe out, and the 6 moles of carbon dioxide is added, and the energy from the light-dependent reactions, that's why we produce energy in stage 1, helps to break down these molecules, helps to break the bonds, and what do we make is we make a simple sugar called glucose, or C6H12O6. And so we have stage 1, we have stage 2. The diagram that you're going to want to know, I have these diagrams on MrEaton.com. You're going to want to know how to diagram these guys out. Stage 1 is the light-dependent reactions, which means that's on the left-hand side. Stage 2 is the light-independent reactions. You can see this is happening inside the thylakoid. Okay, inside the thylakoid. And what's happening is light is coming in. You can see the squiggly line of light. We also have water coming in, and it's happening in stage 1. And what is happening is it's breaking down into oxygen gas. It gives us oxygen gas. It also gives stage 2 two different molecules, ATP and NADPH. And this is the high energy molecules that are going to help break down the light independent reactions. These light independent reactions, obviously we're having carbon dioxide gas coming in, and this is happening in the stroma. And what's happening here is the energy is breaking down the carbon dioxide into C6H12O6, and what's coming back into the cycle is NADP plus and ADP. And so these molecules are then coming and grabbing not only electrons but also a phosphorus and high energy molecules to come into stage 2. And this is all of this is happening in the chloroplast. So you can see stage 1 needs light. It's happening in the thylakoid. Water's coming in. Oxygen gas is coming out. Stage 2, we have carbon dioxide in us. Now we finally have a carbon, and we're going to get C6H12O6 coming out. That's happening in the stroma. And you can see it's this transfer of these high energy molecules. Hope that helped with stage 1. Stage 1 with photosynthesis, and make sure you do your photosynthesis introduction self-assessment on MrEaton.com. I'll catch you on the flip side, guys, on the flippity flop. See you later. Bye.